right now I'm sort of focusing on doing this YouTube stuff and this Odyssey stuff, and I'm enjoying it. I'm not making tons of money from it, but I'm making enough, and that's fine with me.
Yeah, no, I think it's something to explore, and it's one of those things to really, I think when you get a sense of accomplishment, essentially when you publish a video, you got something done. And
Hmm.
it's concrete. It's like you've done that, you've published it. And then you've also, it's cumulative. So you've built up over time. And
Hmm.
each of those steps along the way matters and contributes to the larger thing of what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And I see that as very rewarding and fulfilling. Um, so yeah, keep on doing it, man.
Thank you.
Um, my I have kind of a different idea for monetization that I
Hmm.
eventually want to do is essentially I like selling things. I
Hmm.
enjoy the sales process of helping somebody find what works for them or what they might want to use. And so I enjoy that sales discovery process with people.
Hmm.
So instead of doing, ads, because right now I'm just publishing to Odyssey library.
Yeah.
And not publishing to YouTube. So instead of doing ad revenue or Patreon or some of those other things, all legitimate, fine things, I think what I want to do is build up an audience, doing the things that I'm interested in doing, and then selling physical things
Hmm.
that go along with that. And that'll probably be retro computers like CPUs, RAM, motherboards, retro stuff. And then eventually just selling that is like, hey, if you like what I do, buy some of what I've got. And I have a guess that that will work. It's just it's you've got to do it for so long and experiment to see if it
Yeah.
actually will.
Yeah, I would love to do something physical as well. Right now, I've had some people be like, "Hey, sell some shirts, sell this, sell that." I was like, will anyone buy them though? That's the big question. Like, I can do all this setup, but will anyone actually buy them?
And I don't know. Um, I think for bigger brands like so a YouTube channel like Linus Tech Tips,
Yeah.
uh, I laugh every time he does his shameless promotions for
Mhm.
like his water bottles and t-shirts and stuff like that. And it works. I mean, like obviously he does sell them, otherwise he wouldn't do that.
Mhm.
Uh, but I kind of agree with you. I think, would anybody buy my t-shirt?
Yeah.
Maybe a couple people, but yeah, you're right. Was it worth the setup? I mean, maybe if you have a t-shirt that you plan on selling for the next 10 years
Mhm.
that has some lasting value, then cool, maybe. But if it's something that's more on trend, I could see spending a lot of time doing that setup and then selling 5 shirts and the rest not, yeah, and not working.
I feel like someone at the size of like DistroTube could probably do it, but as I am right now, I don't really think that makes any sense to go and do. Maybe in a year or two, maybe it will, but right now, I think it's something. Maybe I can start looking at designs, but actually setting something up at this point, I think is probably going to be a waste of effort at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I'd wait on that. Um, and I think the Patreon or subscriber model
Hmm.
works really well because essentially, if people like what you do and chipping in a small amount every month or tipping or that sort of, I like the tips model as well, but the
Hmm.
subscription model works well. The tips model works well because if maybe somebody's not a regular follower, but they just really got a lot out of one of your videos and they
Mm.
say, that was really helpful. Thank you, man. Here's $10. Well, if that happens every once in a while, that's just like this extra bonus that's
Yeah.
really nice. Um, and then the subscription model ends up being like the staying power where you can kind of say, well, I know I have this many subscribers and this many people who are in that pay tier of subscribers, and that will work too, because I
Mm.
know that I can see how I can build up my business to do that. So I see both of those as very valid ways to do it. But I don't have to do that because I've got plenty of other work that I'm
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
that pays. So I think I'll just not do those and explore something different as a way to monetize.
That's entirely fair. But with the tip model, I definitely like the way that Odyssey's doing it compared to YouTube, where YouTube will take like a 50% cut in some cases, which is just like, are you?
Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah, if you have, there's a thing called cheer on YouTube. Basically, it's like you can tip a video. Yeah, I think it's about 50% cut they take, which is
Yeah, yeah,
ridiculous.
I could see them doing that. I didn't know it was that bad.
50% basically for a bank transfer, which is that's not how that fee structure should be.
Right. And of course, that's one of the advantages of crypto, where
Mm,
you can do these smaller micro transactions. Um, I read a book by Scott MacLeod. It was in the kind of the Understanding Comics series years ago. And if you're a comics guy, I know you like some of the manga, Japanese art type of stuff.
no,
Under
I've never read a comic book though.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, I used to be into comics a little bit when I was younger, but one of the books that I loved was Scott MacLeod's Understanding Comics. And then
Hmm.
he had some follow-up ones where he talked about kind of like the payment structure for artists. And this
Hmm.
was, I think, in the 90s, maybe 2000 era, but in that, it was 20 some years ago. And he
Hmm.
talks about micropayments on the internet, and this was very much pre-crypto.
Hmm.
But essentially now with library, we have that. I mean, it's already something that we're doing and using. So it's kind of neat to see that idea
Hmm.
presented in that book, and we're living in that reality now.